Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. Today I am going to be doing a kitten chat while I kit up this painting here, Halloween Gnome from Diamond Art Club. I did unbox this on my channel a few weeks ago. I had a video with 2 Halloween paintings that I'd bought, so if you want to see the painting itself in more detail, do go check that out. Today I'm not going to be showing you much of the actual painting, because of having already done that. I'm just going to be getting on with kitting up. And the reason I am kitting up this painting today is that I am going to be joining an event. I don't tend to do events. They're not something that just really appeals to me that much. I don't like to kind of have the event dictate what kind of choices I'm going to make about my diamond painting. However, there's 2 reasons why I'm joining in with this one. One is I would have been doing a Halloween painting in sort of September, October time anyway, because I have 3, I think, in my stash and I want to get one done. The other is that this event is being run by my favourite diamond painting group on Facebook at the moment, which is DAC Fans UK. So if you are in the UK, I thoroughly recommend going and checking them out. DAC Fans UK. And this event is called the FAMalong, and it's for the Diamond Art Club Fantasy and Mystical selection. So any paintings that fall within that selection on their website, which covers quite a broad range of paintings, to be honest. Most Halloween-y type things are going to be included, but lots and lots of other things are as well. So I wanted to join in because I just think it's going to be fun. It's a fun group. I like the people on there, there's going to be prizes, and yeah, I thought, why not? So I'm kitting this up ready to start. The event runs from 1st of September to 31st of October, but if this is the first you're hearing about it and you think you would like to join, don't worry if you're a bit late, because you can join in late. Just join the group and then find the details on the FAMalong so that you can register for the event correctly. And you don't need to finish by the 31st of October either. That's just when the event ends. So there's not much pressure, you know, it's just about working on a painting that fits the theme from Diamond Art Club within that time period. So I'm kitting this up today, ready to start next week, because I'll be... It's the week before you're going to watch this video, and I'm not going to be able to start on the 1st of September. I'll be starting the first week of September. So yes, that's what I'm going to be doing. Right, let me get this out. I have already got the drills out because I had a quick look at them earlier and I thought they looked a little bit staticky. So I've just put them in the freezer for a bit. Let me pop that to the side. I'm hoping they're not going to be too bad, but yeah, we shall see. I'll show you a very quick look of the canvas. So let me just get it rolled back on itself. I picked this one out of the 3 that I've got because I was more drawn to this than the other smaller kit, which was Halloween Cat. I wanted to work on this one with the colours, and I like the gnomes and all that kind of thing. And then the other kit that I have is To Grandmother's House I Go, which I bought on Black Friday last year. So if you want to see that one, you can check out that video. But that one is a bit bigger and it's square, so it would take longer. And I also felt like that one was just a bit less intrinsically Halloween, like I could potentially work on that at other times of the year. Whereas Halloween Gnome, I'm only going to really work on at this time of year because I like to work on seasonal paintings when they're seasonal. So here he is. Isn't he cute? I just think those colours are going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, 45 colours I'm going to be kitting up today, so not too bad really. Let me put that to the side. And I thought I would use my Elizabeth Ward style storage because I haven't used it that much recently. I've been using my round bottles, and I really like when there's a really beautiful colour palette to have them in here so I can just admire them. Anyway, I've got it very roughly set up with 45 containers, but I will mix and match the container size depending on what I need, because I have another set here that I can steal from. So, let me put that there. And then, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half so that I've got my sticker saved to go in my logbook, and I've got my stickers to go on my pot. So let me do that now. I did used to always copy these so that I'd have a copy of the legend, but I haven't bothered so much recently. I think particularly with smaller paintings like this, I can generally see all the symbols on the legends at the side anyway, so it's just less of a big deal. Right, that's that. I'm going to put that to the side. And what else do I need? Okay, so I've got a bowl to put my rubbish in. I've got some scissors for opening bags, obviously. And I've got a tray to kit up over because I always drop drills. And then I think that's everything major I need, isn't it? Why do I feel so out of practice with this? Like I haven't done it a million times before. Right, I need to get some drills out of the freezer and then I will crack on. But before I do that, I just want to say the last time I did a chatty video, which was another kitten chat actually, I asked for you to put any questions that you have for me in the comments. So any questions just about me and my life, about diamond painting, anything that you want to know about. So I did have a couple of questions on that video, but I'm going to roll that over to the next chatty video because I wanted to chat about my holiday today, just while it's sort of fresh in my mind, fill you in on what I've been up to. So if you do have any questions for me, please pop them in the comments down below. And then the next time I do a chatty video, I will come back and review any questions. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you. Right, off to the freezer to get some drills. Right, here's my first batch of drills, nice and chilled from the freezer. So I'm going to start with the larger bags of drills first this time because I'm not expecting to need to use all the space in here, and I prefer for the containers to be underfilled rather than overfilled. So I think doing it this way round will just give me a better guide on how to do that. So let me get some of these cut up. 3 bags of black 10, by the way, in a fairly small painting. Because it's, what is it? I didn't say. It's 42.6 by 55.8 centimetres, which in round drills as well is really rather small, or on the small side of things at least, compared to most of the paintings I have from Diamond Art Club. Lots of shades of purple too. Love it. So I'll just get these cut up, because I can't cope with using scissors and thinking too much at the same time. And then I'll crack on. Okay, I'm going to go in with these black drills in the big container, and I think I'm only going to need one of these big containers, I would imagine. So 310, and hopefully they will all go in one. Yeah, so I've been on holiday. It is Tuesday today. We got back on Friday, quite late in the end on Friday night. And we went away. Oh, hang on, my cat wants to get out of the room. Right, where was I? That's a good start, isn't it? Sort of 30 seconds into actually kitting up and the cat stops me. So we went away 13 days before that. Yeah, we were away 13 days. That was an odd way to describe it. We went away on the Saturday and we came back almost 2 weeks later. So it was the longest holiday we have had in, I don't know, possibly ever. So yeah, it was really nice to get away, the 3 of us, and have a lovely family holiday. So in case you've missed me explaining in previous videos, we go to a place in West Wales called Cardigan Bay. I'm actually Welsh, I'm from Cardiff originally, and a lot of my family still lives there. And my parents have this caravan in West Wales. So we have been going there my whole life. They have been going there as a family since before I was born even. So yeah, it's like my second home. It's heaven to me being there. And we look forward to going there every year because it's right by the beach. So, you know, my son absolutely loves it. My husband loves it. It's wonderful. So we've been looking forward to going there. And so this year was a little bit different because for the first few days, my in-laws joined us. They stayed at a hotel just up the road because there wasn't really room for them in the caravan with all our things as well. So the Saturday that we left home, we went first of all to Cardiff to stop off and see my family, and my cousin was visiting. I'm getting deja vu. I think I covered this when I was talking about the upcoming holiday in my last video, so I won't dwell on it, but it was lovely to see people. All of my immediate family was there, apart from my brother, who was on holiday. And we saw my cousin and her family, who I have not seen probably in about 7 years, I think. So yeah, it was really nice to see her, to meet some of her kids. One I'd only met once before, the twins I had never met. and we had a lovely afternoon there with family. And then we carried on to the caravan. So it was quite a nice way to break up the journey. Got there in the evening. My husband's parents also got there to their hotel, but we didn't actually see them that first evening. So we had a nice relaxing evening in the caravan, just feeling very excited and happy to be there. Static, I need to get some dryer sheets. I think I'm going to use this time. Right, bear with me. I kind of alternate different things that you can do with static. I often use tin foil balls because I was finding them a bit more effective, but then the last time I used them, they haven't been so effective, so I'm just going to pop a dryer sheet in this one. None of the different things you can do for static kind of resolve it all by themselves, so it's just mixing and matching kind of thing. If you ever have static in your drills, I do have a video on dealing with static in drills, so feel free to go check that out if you think it would be helpful. I'm trying to see which containers have quite a lot in, and to be honest, most of them don't. I think, despite what I said, I'm largely going to have smaller containers here, but I'll use a couple of the big ones just because. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we were all at the caravan. And the first day we went to somewhere that we had never actually been before. In my whole lifetime of going there, as far as I remember, in my husband's sort of 20 years of going there with me, like we'd never actually been. So we were thinking, because we had my in-laws there as guests, of things that they might like to do. So we went to Pembroke Castle, which turned out to be really interesting. It was the place where Henry VII was born, Henry Tudor, the first of the Tudor royals. If you know any British history, that was always a period that I really enjoyed learning about. I found the Tudors just really fascinating. So it was interesting to learn a bit more about that. And it was just a fun place, you know. Old historic castle, lots going on there. They had like people dressed up and demonstrating things like muskets and cannons. So we'd be walking around this castle and then suddenly it'd be like boom, a cannon went off. My son did not like that part at all. But yeah, it was really interesting. It was a good day out. I can't believe we'd never actually been before, to be honest. I don't think I'd even been to Pembroke before. Bizarre. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And then we went back to our caravan and made some dinner. It's always a balancing act when we're there because like if we're there for a long time, obviously we're going to have a few meals out, but we can't eat out all the time. But cooking in the caravan is not the easiest. Like, it's not terrible. It's just that some of the equipment isn't that great. Like, the oven is really, really weak. So I think that night we were just doing quite easy food. And I got some oven chips, for example. And I think they were supposed to take 20 minutes to cook and they ended up taking 35. So it's a bit like that. You know, every meal that you cook, you have to kind of guess how much longer it's going to take than the instructions say and then work out how to time things so your food's all ready together. Not my favourite thing, but yeah, it was fine. And we sat and played some games. We played a game called Confident, which is quite fun. My son really enjoys it, so yeah. That was a nice first day. And then the next day, we went to a place called Nuki. So it's just a nearby town to the caravan, a little way up the coast, and it's really scenic, really pretty, very hilly. I remember actually going there with my parents when I was pregnant with my son, and I had a tough time during pregnancy, and I remember trying to go up this hill and just thinking, I cannot do this, I'm so out of breath. Anyway, it makes me think of it every time I'm there. But we went and had lunch and just had a wander, walked around on the, what's the word I'm looking for? The quay, I guess. As from the name, Nuki. And it was a really nice day. And then we went to a honey farm that my husband wanted to go to just because it was nearby. I have to say I wasn't a huge fan. It was basically these big containers with bees in. And I mean, they weren't trapped in there. They had a way to go outside. So there was nothing cruel about it. It was just giving them essentially a safe space to build their hives in a way where we could also look in on them. But I have a thing called trypophobia. And if you're not sure what that is, it's, well, fear is too strong a word for how I have it, but it's basically the fear of like lots of small holes or circles or repeating patterns like that. And they just make me feel really funny. So looking at all these bees, and obviously they've got the honeycomb they've built. And I started looking at it and I thought, I do not like this. So I spent most of the time sitting down trying not to look at them too much, which is a bit tragic. But yeah, it is what it is. And then that day, my in-laws were taking my son out on the dolphin spotting boat. So there's this boat tour trip called A Bay to Remember that goes from near where we stay. And we've gone out the last couple of years with my son and he loves it. Like, it's one of the highlights of his holiday. And my in-laws love doing nice things with him. So we said, would you like to take him out on that this year? And they were really happy to. The weather wasn't great and we were a bit worried it'd be cancelled. But in the end, they went out, but it was quite bumpy. It's a good thing my son liked it because he said that was really fun, but like he's not daring about that kind of thing in general. Like he doesn't like things like roller coasters and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, they went out very, very slowly compared to how they normally do. But they had a good time. They saw some dolphins because obviously it's not guaranteed. And yeah, that went well. And then we met them in town in Cardigan at a restaurant called the Copper Pot, which I thoroughly recommend if you're ever in that part of the world. I mean, most of my audience is not from the UK, so it's unlikely, but hey, no harm in mentioning it. It's a very nice place to eat. So that was that day. And the next day, I think it was their last day with us, so we just had a quieter day. We went to the Cardigan Island Farm Park. Which is again just near us, and it's one of the things that my son loves to do and we'll usually do a few times in a trip, because you go and feed lots of animals and then you walk out along the cliff tops and it's really beautiful and you can usually spot some seals. We didn't see that many, but we did see a few, so that worked out all right. And then in the evening, very excitingly, my in-laws offered to take our son out for dinner at their hotel so that my husband and I could go out, just the two of us. Because of course, generally when we go, we don't really have a chance to go out and do something just the two of us because we have my son with us. Yeah, so we went to this really nice fancy restaurant. Well, actually, we went to a gin bar for a drink first. Not that either of us likes gin, so we had other things. And then we went to this restaurant called the Old Print Works. Because the building used to be a print works. Go figure. And they have like tapas style food, not Spanish, but you know, that style of eating where it's small plates and you order like 3 or 4 per person and then mix and match a bit. And that was really, really yummy. We are a little bit foodie, you know, we do enjoy our good food. So it wasn't the cheapest meal, but it wasn't too bad either. And they had a great vegetarian menu for my husband. We found some vegetarian ones that we could both enjoy, so we could mix and match a bit. And then we had a couple of separate ones as well. Very nice indeed. And just a real treat to spend time together there. And then we went up to the hotel where they all were. And while we were there, we heard from my husband's brother that their baby had arrived. So my husband's youngest brother and his wife were expecting their first baby. And he was born that day. So that was really exciting. We're all very chuffed for them. And he was well, and Mum's doing well, and now he's a couple of weeks old and they're at home and everything's going great. So yeah, really lovely. What else did we get up to that week? Oh, the next day when my in-laws left, we then had some friends over because one of my husband's friends from Oxford, where we live, was in the area with her husband because they were looking at buying I think they do like youth hostels. They own 1 or 2 and they were looking at buying another one. And I think they decided it wasn't right for them. But anyway, they were in the area. So they came over to the caravan. And besides that, we actually had quite a quiet day. And then we went to Heatherton that week, which is like an activity park. It's in Tenby, and you buy credits and then just go on all the different rides that you want to go on, basically, and use your credits that way. So, for instance, my son likes to go on go-karts, and he did a walking on water thing, and my husband and him did, what's it called, pitch and putt golf, while I sat in the car and read my book for a bit. A friend had recommended a book called Fourth Wing, and I think it's been quite a sort of TikTok sensation, so a lot of people might have heard of it. It's like fantasy type stuff, and I thought, while I was going around, oh, I should have bought a book. I know what I'll do. I'll download that book and read it on the Kindle app on my phone. So whenever I was just waiting for my son to go on something, I would just read on my phone. And when they were doing pitch and putt. And yeah, it was one of those books I was just addicted straight away. If you like fantasy type literature, try it. It's really good. And then we went to the cinema that week. So there was one day that was just really rainy and wet and cold. So we went and watched Barbie, which was cool. I'd heard so many good things about it, and we were not disappointed. My husband in particular was like laughing out loud the whole way through. My son didn't get all of it, but we talked to him a lot about the themes and what it meant. And he did enjoy it. I don't think he loved it, but he did enjoy it. It was a 12A, but it was more because there were sort of, you know, hints of things that might not be appropriate rather than it actually being inappropriate. So yeah, that was a fun thing to do together, because we haven't been to the cinema that many times because my son just didn't used to ever want to go. He only went to the cinema for the first time earlier this year, and he's 9, because he didn't ever want to do it. Right, let me put this one in, and then I need to get more drills. It's just a tiny bit of static in some of these bags, so I'm just often putting the dryer sheets in, but they're not too bad really. Right, more drills. Right, flying through this. Not actually going to need too much longer, am I? Just trying to think what else we did. There was a river and food festival on one day, so we went to that and picked up some local sort of treat foods, and my husband got some chili sauces and that kind of thing, and then we had some lunch there, and that was gorgeous. I had, what was it called? It was Bombay chicken dirty fries. So it was like cheese and Bombay chicken and all of that kind of thing all mixed in together on a grill. And it was gorgeous. Really, really nice. And I think the boys went out to a beach that day because I don't really like beaches. They really do. So a few times in the holiday, they will generally go hang out on a beach for a bit. And I'll just stay in the caravan and relax and do my own thing, like diamond painting. I did some diamond painting while I was there, because we're just all happier that way, you know. It's better for them to go and have fun by themselves without me kind of saying, can we go home yet, after a couple of hours, because they will stay for literally hours and hours and hours. And then I get to have some downtime, which is, you know, part of my holiday too. So they went out and did that, and then we went out for dinner that evening. That was the Saturday, I think, in the middle. Yeah, we went out for a lovely meal again. So it does sound like we did that. It does sound like we ate out quite a lot, actually. I think we did eat out more than expected. But hey, it was a holiday. We'll worry about the credit card bill later. And the Sunday was, the Women's World Cup final in football. My son loves football. My husband sort of follows it. I don't particularly care for it, but I watched like the big events like the World Cup, and I thought the Women's World Cup was brilliant. It's come along so far now that there was the World Cup 4 years ago and people realise, hey, actually the women can play too, and it's a really fabulous game when they play. And now it's like there's been more investment and more interest in it. And it's really picked up since 4 years ago. You can really see the difference. And the English team were in the final. Well, I'm Welsh. I'm Welsh first, but I'm also British. So I will support England over foreign teams. So I was cheering the Lionesses on. It was a tough game. It was a tough game and we did lose. Spain won, and rightfully so, if you ask me, with my limited understanding of football. But it did feel like Spain really upped to their game for the final, and the Lionesses just could not quite match it. So disappointing, but a fair result. And obviously there's been all that controversy about it since, hasn't there, with the Spanish, was it the president? Who kind of grabbed one of the Spanish players at the end and kissed her. Yeah, not good. What else did we do? We went out for dinner again that night, according to my notes. So yeah, we really did eat out a lot. But the thing is, we only go once, maybe twice a year, and we have our favourite places, and it's just, yeah, if we can manage to, it's really nice to eat in them. And I think the Monday the boys had another beach day. And then on the Tuesday of our last week, we did another big day trip. So we went back down to Tenby and went to the Manor Wildlife Park, which one of my viewers on here actually recommended to us last year. So we went to it for the first time last year, loved it and went back. So we went there and you can hand feed the wallabies, and they've got red pandas, which is one of my son's favourite animals, that are often out and about, and you can see them walking in their enclosure. And then we went to the lemur talk, and we saw the tigers, and we saw the apes and rhinos, all sorts of things. But actually it's not a huge place, so after a few hours there we were kind of done. And we still had some credits left from Heverton, because you buy credits, but they're valid for like 6 months. So we went back and used those up. Just went on a few more things. So that was a full but very nice day. Yeah, really packed it in. Why have I got this hair that wants to go in everything? Honestly, I think I'm molting. It's like long brown hairs everywhere. Where does that bring me up to? Oh, Wednesday of the last week. So that day the boys went cycling. They went to a lake called Llisafran, I think. And they, like, my husband hired a bike. We'd taken my son's bike with us, and they went round, and they thought it was going to be quite a leisurely ride, and it turned out to be quite hilly and very muddy. My husband sent me a picture midway through the day of them just absolutely caked in mud. But another of my husband's friends, who actually has twin boys who are only a bit older than my son, who he gets on really well with, they were also staying nearby, so they went with them that day. So that was really fun for them. And again, I just had a really chill day at the caravan. I was finishing a book that I had picked up from the shelves in the caravan, so I wanted to finish it before we went home. And I spent most of my day reading, which was bliss. You know, the kind of thing you just don't have time for when you're at home. And then, oh, that brings me to Thursday, our last day at the caravan, which is always sad. Well, actually, by that point, I'm kind of normally at the end of a holiday. I'm sad to be leaving, but I'm also starting to look forward to getting home. Because I am a homebody. I do like being at home. I miss my cat. I miss my own bed, all of that kind of thing. So I wasn't too sad to be leaving, but it's always a bit bittersweet. So we hung out on the site most of that day just to make the most of being there. And then we went for a meal out in the evening, but like fairly early on, so we could then go back. And then we did this thing that's like our tradition while we're there, which is that my husband and I like to take a glass of wine and sit out on the big rocks, staring out to sea and watching the sunset. And it's just gorgeous. I'll try and see if I've got a picture that's worth putting up here now of that sunset that night. Because I take so many sunset pictures when I'm there. Every year I'm trying to collect pictures of the sunset to find the perfect one that I will tin into my very first custom diamond painting. And so far I've never quite got the photo that I think would be perfect for it. But yeah, I'll have to review the ones I've got and see if there's a winner from this year. It's just such a beautiful part of the world. So that was it. Friday morning, we got up pretty early. We cleaned the van. My parents don't charge us rent to stay there, which is, you know, it makes it a really, like, not necessarily cheap because we do activities, but like it doesn't cost us that much to go there. So we're incredibly fortunate for that. But obviously part of the deal is then, you know, there's also no cleaners or anything like that, like you might get at the end of other holidays. So we had to give it a really good clean before we left, which is absolutely fair enough. And it never fails to amaze me how much sand and stuff gets tracked in during our time there. So we gave it a really good clean. Set off a little bit later than expected to go to Cardiff to see my parents for lunch and break up the journey. And that leg of the journey took about 3.5 hours when it's supposed to take 2. So it wasn't a good start. It was a combination of traffic because there was a part of the road closed. And my son, who never really gets travel sickness, suddenly got really bad travel sickness. So we had to make about 3 stops where he felt so sick. And one of those we stopped in a supermarket car park and got him some travel sickness tablets. But even those didn't seem to work. And we were worried that actually maybe it was something that he was coming down with. And it's like, do we even stop and see my parents? Because maybe we could be carrying something. But he did feel better whenever we stopped. He was never actually sick. And whenever we stopped the car for a bit, he would feel fine. And then we'd travel for a bit more and it would come on again. And it did start when we were on like windy roads and that kind of thing. So we trusted that it probably was travel sickness. Checked in with my parents who said they were still happy for us to come and maybe we just, you know, wouldn't hug and kiss kind of thing. So yeah, it took us 3.5 hours to get to Cardiff, which was a real shame. And it meant that by the time we were getting there, it was so late that the traffic was starting to build up for people kind of travelling to... No, actually, it took us 4.5 hours, I think. Yeah, we got there at 4 o'clock and we left at 11:30. Goodness me. Yeah, we just thought if we leave now, if we just stop off briefly and then leave again, the traffic's going to be awful. So we may as well actually stay here a bit and just embrace the fact that it's going to be a really long travel day and we'll get home quite late and not have an evening at home, but have a shorter second leg of the journey. So that's what we did. We ended up staying there till about 6:30 probably, when Google Maps was saying the journey wasn't too bad, because it was the Friday of a bank holiday weekend here in the UK. So a lot of people were on the roads travelling to go away for the weekend. We just didn't want to get snarled up in that. And luckily, the second leg of the journey was fine. My son did not feel ill again. So it definitely was travel sickness the first time. And once he'd had a proper stop. And also eaten some food, because I think on the first leg we were travelling through lunchtime. So I think probably he started to feel sick, and then probably also his stomach started to feel empty. And I don't know about you, but I quite often feel a bit queasy if I get very, very hungry. So I think then everything was just a bit, you know, churned up and sensitive and confused. Anyway, he was fine the second leg. And we got home eventually about 9 probably. We had to stop and get some sandwiches at a service station for our dinner. It was a very weird day. But we finally made it. And yeah, it was a big relief to get home after all of that. Ooh, look at this peachy AB colour. Isn't that pretty? So that was our holiday. And now we're back to it. My son has actually gone today to London with his grandparents. So they're off seeing lots of wonderful things. And my husband and I will probably, I don't know, we haven't decided what to do, but we'll do something this evening because we've actually got a chance to get out, just the two of us. Yeah. What else is new? My Etsy shop is back open. Obviously I had to close it while we were away for 2 weeks, which was a bit strange. I opened it up on the Thursday thinking I'd be back Friday evening and I could pack up orders and get them off Saturday morning. And then we were back so late. It turned out to be not the most convenient, but I got it done. It wasn't a problem. And it was, you know, I was excited to reopen again after having quite a long break. Oh, that one's just got a bit wonky. I did my 1,000 sales giveaway on the weekend. I think I mentioned that in my last video that I was going to be doing that. So if you have any interest in my Etsy shop, which is Crafting Cat UK, where I sell scented putties, and you would like to know more about what's going on, do check out my Facebook group, which is linked below. Because as well as letting people know about upcoming scents and just other shop updates, I also sometimes do giveaways on there. I've done them often to celebrate landmarks in terms of sales. Sometimes I'll just do them randomly, if it just takes me, if I just am in the mood to do it. So yeah, join the group if it sounds like something that might be of interest to you. And now it's all about cracking on for the autumn. I've got my next few weeks planned out in meticulous detail because I've got a lot of stuff to do. Next week, well actually, probably this week by the time this video goes up, if I'm putting it out on Tuesday, as I intend to. If you're not watching this on a Tuesday, then I've changed the order of things and ignore me. But yeah, I'll be starting with my Halloween putties. I've got several Halloween releases planned and I wasn't sure when to do them originally. I was going to do them more like October, but then several people said they thought early to mid-September would be good because people are doing things like Halloween events, like the one that I'm kitting this up for, and just so people have time to use them. So I've brought them earlier, and there will be several Halloween or Halloween related releases, and then also some just seasonal autumnal ones mixed in as well in the next few weeks. And I also have to start preparing for my advent calendar, which I'm very excited to do. So I have decided to do an advent calendar, which once I've totaled up everything I need to do, I realised I was being a little bit ambitious for my first year. But I think I have it all figured out and I have a time frame of when to work on things. So I'm excited. I'm hoping I can pull it off like I plan to. It's going to be a 12 item advent calendar because I really can't stretch to 24. And also it's obviously going to be heavy on putty, and like who really wants like, you know, 20 or 24 Christmas themed putties. I don't know where 20 came from there. Probably the fact that not everything in there will be a putty. There will be some other items too. So I've got it all planned out. I've been buying in materials. I've got plans for when I'm going to work on things. And if that sounds like something that would interest you, again, you can join my Facebook group for updates. But I'm expecting to be able to have it on sale mid to late October to give people plenty of time to buy it. But there's not going to be huge numbers because I'm limited on how much I can make at once. I originally thought about 25. I'm now thinking maybe about 35. But that will be it. And once it's sold out, it'll be gone. So yeah, if it's something that you'd be interested in, I'm not trying to do a pushy sales thing, but like, do watch out for when it comes out, because I won't be able to make more once it's sold out. If it sells out. Why don't I seem to have enough in here? I must have miscounted. Oh, it's because I took a couple out. Okay, last few. So yeah, that is me. How are all of you? Do drop me a comment below. Let me know how your summer's been. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions for me, you know, I reserve the right not to answer things, but in general, I'm pretty open. I don't mind telling you things about myself, so just let me know if there's anything you want to know about. Ooh. These are getting smaller and smaller as I'm trying not to have to cut more strips off. Once I've done this, I've got a couple of other shop bits and bobs to do for the day, and then I'm going to do some diamond painting because I've been really enjoying being back to beach vacation. I showed you in my last kitten chat what I took on holiday. I took Incognito and I took the mystery kit by Katrina Coltez. And I ended up not doing as much as I'd maybe planned or expected. So I did the majority of Incognito because it's just like a really small round kit. But I haven't finished it and I didn't start on the Katrina Coltez one. So I've got that for another time. So now I'm back. I've been enjoying cracking on with Beach Vacation, which was my other WIP before I left. Really enjoying that one, but it's a huge one. So I'm going to finish the row I'm on, and then I will be doing this one, Halloween Gnome, to crack on for the event. And I think I'll get Incognito finished and then probably back to Beach Vacation. So that's my plan for the next sort of couple of months of diamond painting time, and then hopefully I'll be finished up with all of those ready to do a Christmas kit in kind of November-ish, because as I said before, I like to do my seasonal kits when they are seasonally appropriate. Oh, why won't that one close? Oh, it will, it was just stiff. If you can hear sort of scratching in the background, that's my cat trying to get through a door that is currently closed. Not because he wants to go through it, not because he's trapped, because he's got access to his cat door right now and the room I'm in and the kitchen, but just because it's closed and he resents the door being closed because he is a cat. So yeah, I'm ignoring him because I'll be done in a minute anyway. Right, let me just get these organised, and I am just going to keep them in number order as I typically do in this kind of storage. So let me try and arrange those. Where's 2 and 3? 2, 2, 2. There we are. 8. This is the problem when I do this on film. I'm always like, I just end up staring at it a lot, not registering the numbers that I'm looking at. Where has 9 gone? There. 11, that's 13, 12. I'll reorganize these afterwards to make them sort of fit better. 14, 15, the 17, 16. I realise the way I'm doing this probably makes very little sense when you're just watching. 20, where's 20? And 21, 22, 23. Where's 24? 24, 25. 26, 27. 28. 29, 30. 31. 32, 33, 34. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got far too many in that one, so let's shift some over. To make them roughly equal across. That'll do. Okay, that is me all kitted up for Halloween Gnome for the DAC Fans UK FAMalong. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this and listening to me chatter on about my holiday. Please do come back with any questions you have for me in the comments for my next WIP'n'Chat, which will probably be in a couple of weeks' time. And I will see you again on another video soon. Bye bye!